Welcome to the Complete Story series, where I bring you trade paperbacks and single issues and I break them down into digestible bites to help you understand. Then I read them dramatically back to you. Today we're going to be covering Oblivion Song. Now this is an independent book brought to you by Skybound, which is a branch of Image Comics. It's a creator-owned publisher where the creator still owns their books. Robert Kirkman is the guy that created Walking Dead. This is his newest book, Oblivion Song. It involves a dimensional rift and a problem with the universe. Today we're going to cover issues 1 through 3. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Let's begin. The sounds of footsteps stomping on the fleshy ground can be heard as two people run for their lives. A husband and wife look back to see if they've gotten away, and as they turn, they see a hooded man staring right back at them. The hooded man takes a deep breath as he steadies his rifle, and he fires a dart into the husband's shoulder. The husband stops to grab the dart, but a second later, he disappears. The wife falls to the ground, trying to touch the small trace of light left by her husband, asking, "Where did he go?" And just then, the hooded man reloads, and there's a loud roar with a giant fleshy monster barreling into the bus that the hooded man was standing on. The woman sees the creature and begins to run, and the monster chases after her. So the hooded man fires a second dart into the woman, making her disappear like her husband. The man then starts to disassemble his rifle when he notices the giant monster looking right back at him. He sighs, tapping the button on his belt, except it doesn't do anything. He keeps pressing the button, hoping for a different outcome, but as the monster charges towards him, he's forced to dodge the attack. He begins to run for cover, and as he turns back to the building, he takes apart his belt, trying to make it work. However, the monster catches up, scooping him up with his mouth, and he gets ready to bite down. The hooded man pulls out a pistol, popping out the clip, taking out the darts from earlier, sticking himself with them. The dart begins beeping, and just as the monster begins to chomp down the hooded man, he vanishes. Meanwhile, elsewhere, the scientist Duncan holds the woman from before it down, telling her that he knows that it's disorienting, but she's safe now. The wife screams, seeing her husband on the ground, asking, "What did you do?" And just as Duncan tries to tell her that he's asleep, the wife claws and scratches at his face. Duncan calls back to his wife, Bridget, telling her that they need sedatives. They need them now! Bridget runs over, sticking the woman with a needle, and just as she begins to calm down, there's another flash of light as the hooded man falls to the ground. He gets up, pulling the needle out of his neck, looking at the couple, stating, "Good. I was worried that I might have to chase them when I got back." Duncan looks at the hooded man and he asks, "Did you have to dart yourself, Nathan?" And Nathan says, "Yeah, belt's broken. Again." Later, at Duncan's lab, Nathan walks in asking if they were able to ID the people yet, and Duncan says that they are Thomas and Patricia Crenshaw. Thomas leans up from his bed asking if they're home. Are the monsters gone? And Nathan tells him yes, they're safe now, no more running. Welcome home. The next day, the news outlets report that it's been so long since they've had good news, but tonight, that changes. Tonight, Thomas and Patricia Crenshaw have been brought back home when most everyone believed them to be lost. A little while later at the wall, a man stands up on his soapbox, preaching that the Lord has sent those people to the other side, to hell, as a warning! And on this wall are the names of those who have been lost some 10 years ago when things changed. Quietly chiseling away is Nathan, scratching two more of the names out of the long, long list. Later that night, while the news of two more people being saved spreads, Nathan heads to the bar for a toast. However, as he taps his glass with the others, and he takes a drink, it can be seen that the person he was toasting with isn't there. He gets up to leave after paying his tab, and he walks out the door, bumping into a man and a woman named Lucy. The man stops Nathan, asking if it's really him. Just look at him, finding people, but not finding the right one. He wouldn't be hiding Ed from him, would he? They both know that he owes him a lot. Nathan pulls the man out of his way, telling Lucy goodbye, and Lucy nervously waves. The next day at the government office, Nathan kisses his girlfriend Heather, and she tells him to stop, now here. Getting him this meeting was hard enough. Nathan laughs, telling her to relax. There's no way Director Ward will deny them funding after these results. Just you watch. And within seconds of starting his presentation, Ward tells Nathan no. It is unfortunate, but we simply cannot afford to devote the manpower or the tax dollars reinstating your program. It's just not feasible. Nathan shouts, "I saved 2 more American lives. Are you saying that the people on the other side of the wall should be forgotten? When the program first ran, me and my team made surgical sweeps, but there were gaps, and we stopped finding people that made sense to end the program. But clearly, there are still more people in Oblivion than we thought. If I had half the team that I used to, I could make one final search and rescue mission just to be sure. We cannot abandon these people." Ward says that they can't abandon his brother. It's more like it, right? Let me put this all on the table. Isn't that really what this is about? Your brother being lost in Oblivion. Your actions are reckless, and you could very well be weakening the dimensional barrier or whatever. You could cause another transference, but this time it could be the whole city. Nathan says, "There is no science supporting that." And Ward stops him, stating, "There's just too much that we don't know. What we do know is that the government cannot fund your personal crusade." Later that night, Duncan sits in his lab stitching together his old pair of boots, and as Bridget taps him on the shoulder, he drops it and lunges at her. As he realizes who it is, he hugs her, telling her that he's sorry, and he was lost in that whole thing for a moment. He just thought, she tells him don't be. She understands, people have a hard time readjusting when they come back after so long. Meanwhile, over in Nathan's apartment, Heather walks and kisses Nathan on the cheek, stating that he really needs to stop defacing the national monument. Nathan sighs, telling them that they just can't leave their names there, it's like a tomb, and her boss has given up on those people. Heather shouts, asking, do you realize how bad it is to do that? Thousands of people start seeing crossed out names and they're going to ask where their mothers and fathers are. Nathan slams his fist down, yelling, I want those people to see those lines so that I can give them hope. I won't give up on that. Heather tells him no, it means that he won't give up finding Edward. It's natural to love your brother, but if you didn't feel so guilty about whatever happened between you, you wouldn't give a damn about the other people. Heather begins to gather her things, stating that maybe it'd be best if she doesn't stay here tonight. The next day, Nathan heads back to Duncan's lab to gear up, but as Duncan walks in, he asks if the belt is working. Nathan tells him the belt's looking better than those shoes. And Duncan says, well, he doesn't rely on these to bring him home from an alien dimension. They keep him alive. It's the only thing that made him feel safe when he was over there. Glad he's gotten out of there before he got addicted to that place. Nathan asks what could he possibly miss from over there, and Duncan says, the sounds. But there was nothing going on. The brief quiet moments, the breeze and the creatures in the distance, it all came together like nothing that I've ever heard, like music. Nathan smiles, stating that he calls it the Oblivion song. It's haunting, beautiful. A short while later on the other side, Nathan continues to search for his people, and that's when he finds an old weathered body. He reaches into his pocket, pulling out a mold, and he grabs the skull's jaw, closing its mouth around the mold, and he puts the mold away. After digging a grave for the body, Nathan asks, is that you, Ed? And as Nathan gets no answer, he says, I'm sorry, I screwed up. But in the nearby building, a group of people are watching Nathan, stating that that's him, right? But what is he doing? Another voice says that the Crenshaws were supposed to find out, but they betrayed them. Nathan hits the button on his belt, getting ready to teleport out, and the first voice says, oh man, there it is, just watch! And Nathan disappears. The first voice stating, maybe he's trying to help us? And the second says, or maybe he's killing us. The first voice looks back and asks, what do you think, Ed? Ed stands up, stating that the Crenshaw plan failed. Whoever this guy is, we need to know what he's doing with our people. Time we set up a trap. The next day, the recording. 10 years ago, 300,000 people disappeared into the world of Oblivion, and Patricia Crenshaw sits there looking in horror at this recording of what happened. Nathan tells her that it just happened. In the blink of an eye, 30 miles of their city changed. As eyewitness testimonies play in this museum of the events that happened 10 years ago, Nathan continues, and he says that she is very brave for coming here. He knows that it can be kind of unnerving, but seeing things like this, it'll give them a better understanding of what happened. A short while later, Nathan and the Crenshaws head outside, and Patricia looks at the monument, stating, this is where it all happened? That monument is for people like us? Nathan sighs, stating, yeah, he fought against building, felt like they were giving up on the people on the other side. But they are proof that there are still people that need saving. Finding them, that's important. Patricia begins to have a nervous look on her face, and then she blurts out that there are more over there. Thomas tries to stop her, but she tells him no. Nathan deserves a no. And Thomas says, but Ed would never want us to. Nathan stops. Ed? Patricia yells that they didn't want this until they got here. This is the right thing to do. They have to tell them. Later that night, when Heather comes over, Nathan and her lay on the couch, and Heather says that she wants to help, but he knows that she can't do anything. Nathan leans up, stating that they just can't ignore this. It explains why it's been so hard finding people they don't want to be found. Living together outside of the city, only coming in for supply runs, it makes complete and total sense. Heather says, or the Crenshaws are still just adjusting. They're an unreliable witness. Nathan then says that there's a guy leading them. His name is Edward. It could be my brother. And Heather tells him banding people together doesn't really sound like your brother. I would tell you not to go, but I always know what the answer would be anyway. Later in Oblivion, Nathan crosses over in search of more people, but after hours of looking, he climbs onto the top of a building for dinner. He takes a bite and a giant creature scales the building, roaring at him. The monster lunges down to try and bite Nathan, but as it does, Nathan rolls off the side of the building. He tries to grab onto something, and as he hits the ground, he picks himself up laughing, stating, okay, I'm okay. And that's when the sound of a shotgun being pumped can be heard. And a man tells Nathan not to move. Nathan puts his hands up, stating, look, I'm not here to hurt anyone. Just let me talk. And the man stares, asking, you're human? And Nathan responds, telling him, what else would I be? The man then motions for Nathan to get up, telling him no sudden moves. And Nathan says, hey, we're all on the same side. My name is Nathan. I'm looking for. But before he could finish his sentence, there's a loud screech as the monster from before jumps back down. It lunges at the two of them, and Nathan pushes the man out of the way, telling him to get back. The man stands his ground, telling him that he's got this, but Nathan smacks the gun, telling him, what the hell are you doing? We have no reason to kill it. Nathan turns and begins to run, but when he looks back, he sees the man running up to the monster, shooting it in the head. He comes back asking, why would you do that? We could have gotten away. These things are animals just trying to live out their lives. The man looks at Nathan, telling him, excuse the hell out of me for wanting to live mine. A few moments pass, and Nathan then says, look, I'm looking for a group of people outside of the city. I can take them back, all of them. The man says, well, I don't leave the city, so I can't help you with that. And what do you mean, bring them back? Nathan begins reaching for his gun, stating that it's hard to explain. It's faster if he just does it. He gets ready to take aim when the man tackles him, causing the gun to miss. The man hits Nathan with the butt of his gun, asking, what was that? A dart? Are you trying to poison me? Nathan yells that it's not lethal, he just doesn't understand. The man holds his shotgun to Nathan's head, telling him, well, I understand this. As he goes to pull the trigger, Nathan pushes the button on his belt, disappearing. The man looks back at the dart, sees it beeping, and then it stops. He takes the dart, putting it in his pocket, and he walks away. A few seconds later at the drop zone, Nathan crashes down onto the ground, and as he gets up, he looks around, stating, damn it, and he begins to walk. After making the trek back, he asks, how bad is it? Bridget says that it's sprained, but not broken, cuts and bruises, otherwise fine. They'll continue to monitor him to make sure that there's no infection. Nathan laughs, telling her, well, it was quite a fall. Bridget sneers, asking, are you bragging? I'm gonna go tell Heather, and she's gonna ground you. Heather walks in asking, what is she grounding him for? And Nathan yells, nothing! Wait, why is Heather here? And Duncan says that he seemed worse when he got here this morning. Nathan tells him that it's because he walked across a desert. Heather asks Nathan when is he going to give this up and stop putting himself at risk. What if he never finds Ed? And Nathan says that he knows Ed is probably dead, but he just can't not try. Heather shouts, asking what about his life? What did he do to feel so guilty? Doesn't he want more for them? Nathan closes his eyes, stating that he does. He really does. But she also knows that he can't say what she wants him to. She pauses for a moment and the two look at each other, and then she leaves, stating that maybe she'll see him next weekend if he's still alive. Once she leaves, Duncan comes back, stating that it's maybe time for them to quit. Bringing people back, himself included, aren't really okay. We're getting by, but nothing about this life is okay. The Crenshaws say that people don't want to come back, so then why not just leave them there? We've already given up enough of our lives to this. It's not our cross to bear. Back at Oblivion, the man from before walks down the bridge and then he begins to make his way into the ground. He steps over the fleshy ground and he can hear something, and he sees a monster rushing towards him. He trips backwards and the monster knocks the shotgun out of his hand and it opens up its mouth. The man uses both arms to try and keep the monster's mouth closed, but just then 3 gunshots go off. The monster rolls off the man and a group of people appear, and the man in front of the group holds out a smoking gun, telling the man, you know it's forbidden to come here, killer. Killer holds out Nathan's dart, stating that he has something that he is going to want to see. And there you have it. We've brought back indie books, guys, and I've got about 4 others already lined up to bring you, so let me know by giving this video a like. Benny, I want more Oblivion song, okay? Because if you like it, then we'll keep bringing you 2 to 3 issue segments of it like we do with Scooby-Doo and Power Rangers, so we can keep you up to date, but we don't spend a ton of time on videos that aren't going to overly perform. If you do like this, I just really need to know, Benny, keep it in the rotation. You can also find us over on Twitter at Comicstorian, where every Wednesday through Wednesday, because you know that's a week, I review comic books and give you my single tweet review on there. And you can also find us over on Twitch, twitch.tv, where twitch.tv/eligible monster, where I review comic books every Sunday with my co-host, Daniel T. Editor. Some of you remember him. He does a lot more than edit now, but he'll never get away from that name.